today's question is actually a really big one. This video is going to be a smidge longer than everything else because I really want to dive deep a little bit into immunity. So before I forget to mention, we are having a workshop in August about how to best boost your immune system. Of course, that's right before going back to school for the kids, so I will attach all that info there for you. But let's kind of talk about the immune system. Let's talk about flu season. Let's talk about fevers and basically what the easiest and best solution is for that. So let's kind of rewind and let's talk about flu season. There is no flu season. I hate to break it to you. I know media tells you there is. I know you see all the signs listed all over, but humor me for a minute, okay? Let's think about this. How do all the bugs in the world gather together, all come to whatever city that you live in, and know that October through December, they're going to attack? And then the rest of the year, what do? Just fly off and go somewhere else? Absolutely not. You can get a flu any time of year. I know some of you have gone this summer because I've seen you and adjusted you, of course, in the office. But don't just buy into a season. Think about what you can do to make sure that your immune system is functioning at 100% your entire season, every single season. Not that we have too many in California, but you know what I mean. So what can we do? What can we do to naturally boost our immune systems so that even if we do come down with something, it doesn't turn into a massive flu, it doesn't knock us out for weeks on end, and we're able to recover and move on as quickly as possible? Now, with that being said, I know it's a little bit hard to hear, and I know you're the ones taking care of your kids, so it may not be the easiest thing in the world, but kids get sick, and it's okay. It's okay if children get sick, because guess what? Every single time that they come down with something, they are naturally building their immune systems up to be able to then, fight whatever else they want to the next time around. If we suppress that, if we don't let them get sick, if we don't if we sterilize everything around us, trust me, their immune systems will be much worse off. I know sometimes you're in the middle of a stadium and there's not a bathroom to go to and you take out the antibacterial because you want to be clean. No problem. Or it's a, filthy mess somewhere where you are. It's okay. But even with antibacterials, we can use much better ones. I'll kind of put a couple of links to some that I like to carry around because you can't always go and wash your hands. But that's the first place it should start. Wash your hands, use good soap, don't just spray things with alcohol and chemicals in them, and sterilize everything around you. Because when things sterilize, then you never get little bacteria, and you're never naturally building up your immune system. So that's step one. Step number two is a fever. Now, I know, speaking to a lot of our moms and dads, that fevers really scare parents. Now, I could only imagine the only thing that you want as a parent is to make sure that your poor little one is not suffering, that they're feeling okay, of course, and that you can do whatever you want to do to comfort them, because that's your role, that's your job as a parent. But realize a few things. A fever is not always a bad thing. Actually, the majority of the time, it's not a bad thing. Yes, there's times where if it gets really high, and I'll talk to you about what number really high, that we must step in and maybe intervene with something different, but not from the second it goes up. So imagine you're camping and you go to get some water from a stream or what have you. You wouldn't just take that water right away and drink it, right? No. What do you do with it? Well, you boil it. Well, I wish you could answer me back right now, but why do you boil this water? You boil it because at those high temperatures, whatever bacteria, whatever gunk is in that water, it's going to be boiled off, which in turn makes it healthier for you to drink. Well, that's exactly what a fever does in your body. It recognizes that something's not right. It recognizes that there's a bacteria, a virus, whatever invader there might be, and it starts to raise your temperature. It starts to raise your temperature up and up and up and up. And once it gets really high, that's its boiling point. That's the point where it's working so hard on fighting it all off. And then what happens? It breaks. I know so many of you have woken up. I've woken up like that in the middle of the night where you're like, oh my God, what just happened to me? You're a puddle, right? Well, that happened because your fever did exactly what it was supposed to do. Everything completely boiled off in the body, and that next day you feel so much better. Why? Because your body naturally did all of that. Now, when we put something like Tylenol or Motrin or whatever it might be, look, they have side effects. Whether they're a children's addition or not, they have side effects. And it's so much insult to your poor liver to detox all of that out. Not to mention a bunch of other things that can happen. But when we introduce something like a medication, then we yo-yo. You actually are prolonging how long you're sick, because let's say it goes up to 101 and you give Tylenol and its point to really release everything was 104. Now at 101, what's going to happen? That fever is going to drop. Of course it's going to drop most of the time. You just put, a chemical into that system. So it's going to drop down to whatever favorable number we want to see. And then as soon as that medication wears off, then it spikes. And most of the time it spikes higher than what that 101 was. And then it's going to keep yo-yoing, keep yo-yoing, keep yo-yoing every time we add the med, add the med, add the med. Look, fevers even up to 104 a lot of times are safe. I know you're watching this thinking this lady's crazy. 104, 104. Now, I'm not telling you to do absolutely nothing. That's where I'm going to come in, and I'll explain to you why and some other things that you can do in the process, but we gotta let the body ride its course. Way too many times we interfere way too early with the body actually healing and trying to do whatever it's doing, and then our children are sick longer, they have worse symptoms, which it could have been kind of nipped at the butt at the beginning if we let things ride its course for just a couple of days. Now, of course, I don't want you or your children or anybody else being sick for weeks on end, because that's not normal. I know I've had some of our kiddos that have maybe started daycare and then you just see huge switch in their immune system. Well, why? They're being exposed to so many children, so much bacteria, so many viruses, whatever it might be. And again, that's okay, because guess what? They got to go to school. But again, what do we do to make sure that even in those circumstances, their bodies stay as absolutely healthy, and their immune systems work as best as possible? Well, that's where chiropractic comes in on one level. Now, your immune system is governed and controlled by your nervous system. So our job and our goal, of course, is to clear your nervous system and to boost that immune system up every time. Because if I keep influencing that immune system and naturally building it up, then it's going to recognize an invader, a toxin in your system faster. It's going to allow your body to self-heal and regulate like it does. And bam, a couple days in, a 24-hour fever, a couple sniffles, you're over that hump and done. That's the most ideal situation, of course, right? And of course, during that time, and some of you have experienced this, I've asked you to come in more often. Why? There's people that I'll see in the morning and then back in the afternoon again, or right away that next day. Why? Because I'm going to get in as quickly as I can to clear your immune system up to, of course, allow it to function at its best. On top of that, you've heard me give you certain recommendations. Now, most of the time when we're sick, we don't want to eat. Your body starves a cold because its focus and its function is on healing, not digesting. So of course, I know some of you get worried with the kids. You don't want to eat when you're sick. They don't want to eat when they're sick either. So hydration is going to be the most important thing. My favorite things to give to kiddos when they're fighting a cold, or even to mom and dad, are water, are really good bone broths. If you want to add some veggies or puree or anything like that, if you can take it, absolutely do that. Coconut water, which is so high in electrolytes and has no gunk. Sometimes a lot of things like Pedialyte or whatever have a lot of colorings, a lot of additives, and that's just no good for our systems. And then a sports type like Gatorade drink that I really like is Recharge. Recharge comes in a bunch of different flavors, but again, very high in electrolytes and very natural for you to have. So hydration is going to be key. The more you keep your body hydrated, the more it's going to be able to fight everything off. And then what we can do is, of course, we're going to try to avoid sugars. I know, so hard, but sugar actually weakens that immune system. So during that time, we absolutely have to keep sugars to as little as possible, of course. And then the third thing are a couple vitamins and supplements that I'll recommend. So vitamin D is crucial for immune health. During that time where our immune system is much lower, I typically will recommend anywhere from 10 to 20,000 IU of vitamin D for a short period of time. That may sound like a really big number, but really it's not. Because just being outside, your body produces over 20,000 IU of vitamin D anyway, just being in pure sunshine. The second thing we're going to do is vitamin C. So vitamin C for adults, we're going to do about 6,000 to 7,000. Now for the kids, these recommendations are much different. I will list them underneath here so you get a better idea. It's by weight and you kind of multiply and do some math. We're not going to do that now. But vitamin C, we're going to do about 6,000 to 7,000, 6,000 to 10,000, excuse me, IUs. The other key supplements that I absolutely love are by Standard Process. And Standard Process makes a wonderful immune system supplement called Congaplex. Now Congaplex, we have in chewable form, so the kiddos take Congaplex, but it basically supports everything from here to here. So it's going to lungs, it's going to chest, it's going to throat, tonsils, adenoids, ears, sinuses, this entire region. Most of my kiddos take one Congaplex a day, just for good immune health, on top of a multivitamin that we have called Catalin, on top of some fish oils, which is a great little trio for them to take daily. And if we're fighting something, then we increase that dosage. Now each body is going to be very different, so we'll kind of test and figure out what's going to work. Our adults can take the same thing. We have Congaplex if it's more cold-like symptoms. We have Immuplex if it's more flu-like symptoms. We have Antranex, which goes to our sinus tract, of course, and helps. We have something called Thymex, which is a lot of vitamin C, and a lot of immune support there. So whatever it might be, we have that solution for you to naturally fight this first. Allow your body to really go through everything. And if we ever need to add anything else, then we will. But we gotta kind of switch that mindset and work from the most natural first, and then figure out if we need to add anything else later on. Because the majority of the time, along with your chiropractic care, along with good sleep, along with good nutrition, along with smiling and a good positive attitude, and of course with whatever vitamins and supplements we may need, you're gonna be fine. And you're gonna fight it off so much faster than you would have any other route. So I know this was a big mouthful. I promise I'll write everything down below as far as what these supplements are, where you can get them. Of course, you can find them all in office. And at any point, if you have questions about your immune health, please feel free to either ask them below, email us, whatever it might be. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful day.